In a world dominated by darkness, where the air is thick with fear and the sky bleeds neon, shadows move where there should be none. Something ancient, something unseen waits beneath the surface. It watches, it waits, it hungers. And when the world turns upside down, there will be no way back. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Natural eyes, a pure wanderlust. So beautiful, but yet so dangerous. She's on her way, just right after dusk. A perfect disguise, no one would ever know. I can see her starlight, like a burning afterglow. No one else can sense the otherworldly song. But I know she's extraterrestrial, ultra dimensional. Done being pulled into a gravity as a high strangeness just overcomes me. Can you see? She's extraterrestrial, ultra-dimensional. She's extraterrestrial, heavenly celestial. But she's just here for the night. In sunrise, she'll take flight. She doesn't know the truth inside. She can't hide. She can't hide. She's extraterrestrial. Heavenly celestial. She's
Hello, 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 and welcome everybody to episode 26 of the Synthwave Hangout. You know me, I am Memory Design. And I am Woren.
I got you. Just come on, admit it a little bit. Just a
No,
little bit.
I know now to wait. And so I know that I had to do your voice.
Thank you. I appreciate
That
it.
was
It did
the
sound
way-
just like, I got to be honest with you.
I'm Woren. How are you guys doing?
I am Woren, also known as Windows, also known as Dominic, also known as the coolest dude you'll ever meet.
I forgot you had that
the
official
most
name.
Super big muscles. No, go ahead. I'm good.
Right. Huge Muscles is the name now going forward.
Yeah, from now on, I'm huge muscle.
Big Musk. Yeah. So, anyways,
Perfect.
what you're working on, Big Musk? Doing something good?
This show, you know.
This show, right? That's what's happening right now. Oh my
that's what's
god.
happening today.
Yeah, it's just madness right off the bat. But
For sure. My whole day is literally soaked up with things to do. Apparently.
right. So we have a special guest today, and he's on the line right now, and it is the incredible Just Scott. How are you doing, Scott?
I am doing well. Hello, everybody.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're on. As you know, and I've told you, I'm a big fan of yours. So I always love that we get to talk with and like interact with people that I personally like. Even if I wasn't connected with the label. So that's always a fun experience for me.
This is so cool. You guys can call me anything you want to. I'll answer anything.
Okay, you'll be Little Musk and Big Musk.
Yeah,
That's right.
McLovin, whatever you want to call me. Whatever works.
I got to be honest. I thought I didn't know. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought you might have a really thick New York accent.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just maybe it's because that's where you're from. I thought you'd get on with like the real stereotypical, and you just sound.
Hey, what's going on there? Yeah, what's going on?
Long Island in the house representing.
So for people that aren't too familiar with your tracks, and they will be later, but can you say a little bit about the Just Scott project and what it is and kind of what you're going for?
So, I mean, there's a backstory here. I'll give you a little backstory on the name and when I started. And I used to play in a lot of cover bands when I was in high school and college. My brother and he was my bass guitarist. And I went off my own and I did the whole emo kind of circuit thing
Mm-hmm.
in the early 2000s. I mean, who didn't?
Right. Very popular.
So, yeah, so
I
when I
did.
did that, I started. You didn't.
Nope.
I
I like emo music, but I didn't play it.
What? Why not?
Oh man.
Because I'm lame.
Seriously, come on. So
The whole show is now just Scott getting mad at Woren over here. Right?
Okay, yeah,
Come
that's
on,
fine.
man.
Come on, dude. Be like, I'm sorry.
I gotta go. That's it.
Right. Scott's
sending out a
Scott's
hit.
done with the
He
show.
just
So anyway, sorry,
No,
Scott. Go ahead.
So yeah, no, it's all good. So I was doing the whole emo thing, and when I stopped playing in the bands, when I started doing that emo thing, it was just me and my acoustic guitar. It was just me and a Gibson on stage.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the time when like Dashboard Confessional was doing that, when Chris Carrabba was just him and his guitar. He had such great range, so it was hard to compare. But I was opening for all these really fantastic bands, and I remember the first show I played was at this place called the Rock Lobster, I think. It was
Ooh.
like this, I don't even know what it was, a restaurant? I have no idea, but it was like this whole thing. It was the starting line was headlining it. They were pretty big back then, and they were like 16, and I'm like 24. I'm like, oh my god, I'm opening up for freaking little kids, which were better than I was. So
Oh, that's the best, isn't it? I've been in bands before. We've had like the super group of talented young kids open for us, and we were just all put on a bill together. This was back in the day with my like other band, and like we're the headliners, and they get on, and not only are these like 8-year-olds, I'm sure they were older than that, but we're like way better than us, but like. They had like merch ready, and like the dads were involved, one of those type of bands, you know what I mean? Like, and they had professionally printed stuff, and I'm like, here's my CDR. Do you want to buy it for like $30 or something?
Yeah.
Oh man, sorry.
Right?
Go ahead though.
No, it's cool. So I started doing that, and I just like to get to the name thing. Like I was going on stage, and they're like, "Yo, so what do we introduce you as?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just Scott." And he's like, "All right, and next up is just Scott."
And it was born.
And that was it. And so at that time, I was substitute teaching at my high school that I used to go to. And so all the kids were coming to my shows because they were in like bowling alleys, arcades. Like they were just in like these weird, odd places that wherever you could get a gig, you were playing.
Right.
Most of the time, you were playing for free and just trying to sell your merch.
Right.
And so after that, like in school while I'm substituting, they're like, "Hey, there's Just Scott." Like it just started, and I was like, I just stuck. I couldn't change it. I've recently tried to rebrand myself and decide, but then I was like, why would I change it now?
Yeah, it's already. It's not a new project, right? So you're already kind of out there.
It's still me, and funny you said. We were saying about the young kids. My first EP that I released was with a bunch of 10th graders.
Nice.
My kids that I was substitute teaching had a music studio. So I got permission from their parents to go in there, and I had one of the guys that lead guitar, one did the bass, and one did the drums, and I played rhythm and sang. And they were awesome. Those guys were, and they're still musicians, most of them.
Yeah.
Teaching music in high school and.
Wow. Well, when you get to 10th grade, you're kind of over that threshold, I think, a little bit in terms of like the ability to hang with people within the next 10 years, like 16 to 25 thing.
Right, yeah.
So, because I've been in a band before where like we were 17 and our singer was 20 and he was out of high school, that kind of thing. But it didn't seem, we weren't so far apart where, it was like 8 o'clock and I had to go to bed and he was going to the bar or something like that.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I knew from this name that there was some story in that realm somewhere. Where it was somebody was like, "Who's that? He's so good." Oh, that's Just Scott. I was just imagining what the name story would be.
I always I think I'm more happy that it was born out of smartassery. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's to me that the fact that the name was born because some dude was being a smartass on stage. That's the best story.
That's the best.
It's like the Spider-Man, like they're like, "What do we call you, kid?" He's like, "The human spider." He's like, "No, Spider-Man." When they're introducing him to wrestle.
Right.
Yeah, it's like all right, I guess I'm just Scott.
No, it's
Right.
perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And
I like it though.
yeah, I
it's
like
original.
it. It's original sounding. You remember it pretty easily, or I did
I don't
anyways.
care what anyone says about you, buddy. I like it.
Yeah.
Some people want me to change it. I'm just like, I just can't do it. I tried. And I've got some great ideas, but I'm like, it's just not me.
Right. You got to get people off your back by being like, all right, I'm going to go by Scottinator, or or just Scott,
Punisher.
just Scott,
No,
and the Fabulous Seven, or something that's like ridiculous, and they're like, just
Yeah,
Scott's
yeah.
pretty good. I think we should just stick with just Scott.
Like all the
Come up with
names
something
that I
really bad.
came up with, I was thinking like they're all good names for full albums, like Great Scott, or like
Yeah.
things like that. Like it could just be the album title.
Yeah, Great Scott is funny for obvious reasons, but yeah, that is more of an
Yeah.
album title, I think. I don't think that'd be worth rebranding for, but that is
No,
a cool
yeah.
album title.
Yeah, so that's my intro to me.
Cool. Craig
That's
Packman
how
had
it all got started.
Craig Packman had a question a million years ago in the chat about what is your favorite cereal.
He likes to ask this question.
Right.
Oh,
We
Craig's
entertain
the
it.
best.
It's a good question.
I love Craig. I'll ask whatever he wants if I catch it, anyways, in the chat.
I'm gonna run with Fruity Pebbles, I think.
Oh, that's a good one.
Fruity Pebbles are always solid.
Yeah.
The big bowl of those with the milk like
Oh,
over the
God.
top, and then you
It's-
put the spoon in, and some dribbles off the side, and you're like, no.
All of us, like late 70s, 80s, and like early 90s kids, grew up on all these kind of cereals. And it's like right now, my daughter really wants like all these sugar cereals. And I'm like, that's not healthy. But if like I was like single, I'd be like picking up Lucky Charms for myself.
Yeah, I did want that.
Yeah.
So-
Double standard we hold as
Double-
parents is funny.
Right.
I thought for a while I was lactose intolerant.
Oh,
And
no.
I went to because I was like eating. I mean, like, I can't just eat a bowl of cereal. It's like a monster bowl. Like in Friends, they had those
This was the way.
giant cups
Yeah.
of coffee. I had this giant bowl of cereal. My wife's always like, maybe if you had a human-sized bowl of cereal, you wouldn't feel sick like 3 hours
No,
later.
that's human size.
I'm a big fan
I was
of
like-
like the big pasta bowl full of cereal too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
know.
that's what I do.
find the biggest bowl in the house every time I go to eat cereal.
Yeah, it's
just-
like it's like you got about 3 pours out of the box until it's empty.
I was gonna say 3 pours. That's it. And I'm just like,
We're out of
okay,
the cereal
maybe it's
already.
the milk. Maybe it's the milk. So I went to lactose-free milk. Nope. 3 hours later, you just as an adult, you just really can't ingest.
Yeah, like 2,000 calories of sugar in a single
always
meal.
3 cups of cereal.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's the same way for me too. Like I will eat a big bowl of cereal occasionally, and it's always like regret later. I know I'm gonna regret
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
this-
like,
Worth it though.
hey, Captain Crunch is calling me.
Oh,
You
the
know what I mean?
crunch berries. Yes.
Yeah, Craig.
Yes, with the Crunch Berries. This is what I'm talking about.
Brandon McCool in the chat just said, where are my Cracklin' Oat brand people at?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like Blueberry Morning. I don't think it's called that anymore, but it used to be called Blueberry Morning. It was really good.
I've never even heard of
Did you say
that.
blueberry boring? Is that what you said?
Yes, exactly. Yes, I did.
Oh,
Here's
owned.
my ear horn right now.
All right.
Burn.
So I've got some. I'm going to say this, and then we should move on to the next block because this time will go real fast. But I'm very excited. I always hope for somebody like you, if they haven't heard your music, I'm very excited for people too because I think they're going to be really impressed. And not to talk it up too much, I know people hate that, but like I'm hoping there's some people in the chat that aren't familiar with your stuff. And then when we play it, they can hopefully become fans like I am going
That's awesome.
forward.
Yeah, that would be great.
So let's take a break and we got 3 more songs coming, and then we'll come back right after.
Cool.
Cool. All right. I'll talk to you guys very soon.
I'll be here.
searching for a whole new home in this dark space, but everything is gone black. Try and trust my heartbeat, but it moves at light speed, and I don't know where to end up. I spend my time chasing stars that I can't see, and now I'm gone, I can no longer breathe. I'm drifting through the galaxy. I pray the constellations will guide me back to where I'm alone, a place that I call. On gravity can pull me through. Please don't ignore my soul in this cosmos. I trusted you. I thought you'd show me more. Am I fading out? Can't find myself now. I wanna put my feet on the ground. Got to make my way home somehow. I'm drifting through the galaxy. I pray the constellations will guide me back to where I belong, a place that I call.
And we're back. If you weren't aware, that was more of the high energy block. I try to group stuff together. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes we have some new music or there's old music I want to play, and I'm just like, this is the good block of music, and just put that in there. So, is everyone back? Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
What was that, Dominic? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was just saying it's tough to line everything up when you're trying to set up like a playlist or anything like that, because you don't want to, like you said, you don't want to clash stuff, so it's kind of tough.
Right. I always I think it's Sam always in the chat that's always like, I see what you're doing here. I got it. The vocal block. Or so he comes up with like a descriptor for it or something. So
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So, Scott, I got a couple of questions for you. What's your favorite note? No, I'm just kidding. I never know if I should ask this to artists, because I don't know if this kind of stuff is insulting. But like, the thing that, or I guess say this, but the thing I really like about your sound is most of your songs I feel like could be the soundtrack of like one of my favorite 80s movies. Is that something that is a positive to you or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Like the joke with me and Dominic is always that, like, Dominic, your music sounds so much like video game music. I love it. Right? And then that makes Dominic's blood boil.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why. Just something about like somebody being like, your music would sound really good in a video game. It always like touched a nerve for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, but there is a large nostalgic part for me about Synthwave is the connection with 80s media. And that's real big for me. And so the sound that you make is like the like top level of appeal for like the kind of synthwave that like I go for most. and just I don't know what it is about your vocal tone or the music. There's something about it that I can't put my finger on that resonates like almost perfectly with that sound that I go for or that I reach for. So I didn't know if you were doing that kind of on purpose and you kind of have that kind of feeling as well, or like, I don't know. Can you talk a bit about that? Like, am I off the mark on that, or is that just like a lucky accident?
I think you're hitting that right on the nose. I don't have. It's like my music should have been in the '80s or early '90s. You know, like I started writing it. Like when I used to be in a band with my brother, like the two of us sound quite similar, and we harmonized really well together, and like our voices were good, but it's like we were I'm in the wrong decade.
Right.
You know, like. You know,
right, you're supposed to sound like a sad, whiny person, right? And you've got this like great sounding, like almost 80s, not you could say 80s pop, but you know, like it's so from that decade sounding to me. Anyways, I totally hear what you're saying. I was talking about whiny, like you're in the emo phase, right? Emo band, and like they're like, why does this sound so rich and awesome? You're supposed to be like all nasally.
Yeah, I never had that whininess. It was always just the emo lyrics, but you know, I couldn't get there. And it's just, you know, when you're influenced by so many 80s rock bands, it's hard not to start to maybe sound a little bit like them vocally. You know, like my first concert was Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
You know,
my first concert was the Scorpions. So I'm with you right there. I mean, not the same thing, but you know, same kind of era.
My first concert was Neil Young, Primus, Ben Folds 5, and like a handful of...
Okay, get out of here. All right, get out of here.
That
was my first concert.
That's a great concert to start with.
It is a good concert, but what a weird, mix.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. It was called the Horde Fest, HORD.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That was a big show.
Yeah.
I realize now that I'm writing more synthwave music, or you know, whatever you would call it, that I'm doing it. I didn't realize how influenced by 80s like hair metal I was, because I used to listen to a lot of like 80s metal, 80s rock, like Skid Row and Motley Crue and like this whole thing. And I find myself going into that song structure and like pulling back. I'm like, not every bridge has to end with a screaming high note with then this like flaming solo over it. But I want to every time.
Why not?
I want to so bad. It's like this soft, right? It's like this soft song with like a female singer, and I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome if it just had a huge buildup and then like a minute long, just like shredding, like just wailing solo in this?
No, I agree. You know, I want to end every song with like, you know, the chorus repeating over and over, and then somebody ad-libbing over everything every time. I want to just end
right into the fade out.
Right, you got to fade out while there's a guitar solo starting, and then you know what I'm saying. It's got to have the guitar solo playing in the background fade out as well.
Yep. I'll be doing that, and you know, Tim IL9, he edits most of my music now. Yeah, the songs before Tim,
I'm sorry.
No, he's working with him. It's different.
I always tease him though. Don't mind.
I'm just like, you know, and he always like, he's like, maybe we should do this instead of that. You know, I'm like, that's a good idea.
Yeah. No, too.
Most of my music, I always say when I'm talking to my wife, I always say BT. You know, like, you want to listen to before Tim or you know, like,
yeah, Tim knows what he's doing for sure.
With him, you know,
BT.
Yeah, BT.
Can I hear the BT?
It's like, you know, 2012 BT.
Right.
BT era. Yeah, that's what you got to do before, you know, when you get enough tracks out, right? You can have like the anthology series, like the BT, like
BT and AT.
Yeah. I'm sure that will land with most people right away, right?
Yeah, they'll be, what the?
Get it?
Oh man. So the next block we have up that we'll get to in a few minutes are 3 of your songs, and Tim is on 2 of them, right? Featured.
Shocker.
Yeah, right. And they're awesome songs. I mean, that's, like I said, that's me saying this, so I could probably say that about most of your stuff, at least everything that I've heard. But as far as the IL9 stuff, I mean, that has a slightly different sound to it, to me anyways.
Yeah, he and I, when I write a song and I finish it up and I put them, usually I do it with my guitar and then I'll put it all down on the keyboards and stuff. And I'm always like, this is missing something. And it's often it's missing Tim.
Yeah.
So,
that's how I feel in life. I'm missing Dominic. So
yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm like, Tim,
I just mean in general.
What do you think? Yeah, are you missing him often?
Yeah, right. I miss Dominic whenever we're not connected.
We love each other.
Right.
Do you guys you guys go like by like Double D or like,
not yet. We do now.
D squared? I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
I can't tell you how many times I've had this same exact thought.
What?
About Double D or?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, anytime I think about like how silly like our name scheme could be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we could come up with a lot of stupid names that people will immediately be turned off by. If they're to see our stuff. I would, but the name is so bad I can't even listen to it. It's like back in the day when you were looking for certain music in a genre section for CDs or cassettes or whatever, the album artwork would sometimes decide whether you were going to give it a shake or not, if you were going in blind. And I used to do that. Some of my favorite albums I found because I thought the album art was cool. And then I was like, yo, what is this? This is so good, and then that kind of a thing.
Oh my God. Some of a lot of the 80s albums were just like words on a blue screen, it was just...
Oh yeah.
Until the 90s when I bought my first Naked Baby on a CD.
Yep.
The art was, my Van Halen albums were just like Van Halen.
Right.
1,
right.
2, 3. Like what?
What? Right. Yeah. I mean, it does make a difference. I think it's less important now in some ways, unless you're doing physical merch. Like I have a friend, like a musician, he's really into music. I grew up with him, everything, and he is just like, the only thing I see with the album cover now is a tiny thumbnail on my phone.
Right.
Because he doesn't collect physical media. It's all digital for him now. And so it's less important. But I'm still like a vinyl collector and everything. I love a good cover art. It's very appealing to me still.
I can't afford it.
Not yet.
Yeah, there's that.
One day I'll be able to afford a whole treasure trove of
right.
vinyl.
Yeah, I got a lot of $30 pre-orders happening right now. So in like 2 months, it's just going to be like the postman being very confused. Right? Like, what is this? Why am I delivering one of these like rectangle packages?
I have plans.
He starts folding them in half.
What was that, Scott? Go ahead.
I was just thinking, I have plans for a lot of records. Nice. I want to have them up on the wall. And I started building a studio. Then we found out we're going to sell our house and we're going to buy another one. So I'm like, put that on hold.
Yep.
So yeah, I have plans for a lot of records. I really want vinyl signed. I want it on the wall. I want a record player.
Yeah. That's real fun.
Use Spotify.
That is very fun.
Or Bandcamp. Or, so I look nice, but I'll probably never use them.
Right.
Because I won't want to ruin them.
Oh man! All right. I always want to make sure we don't go too long talking, because there's always so much to get to, and it's almost we're almost up at the first hour. So we've got 3 songs of yours coming up, and the first one, I mean, you know what they are. Is there anything you want to say about any of these 3 before people hear them, or do you want to talk about stuff after?
Yeah, let's discuss it afterwards. But
sure.
Earlier you asked me a question, and I just want to say that every song, when I write it, in my head, I see it in a movie or I see it in a show.
Yeah.
Like I never really answered that question. So yeah.
A lot of montage ending credit sounds going on.
Yeah,
I think.
like it's all, I can see like bits and pieces all over the place. And I'm like, God,
right.
in there.
You could have been there. Right.
This would be so much better if it was there.
Yeah, well, hopefully the people that aren't familiar with you in the chat will see what we see. So,
Awesome.
So the first one I have up is Just Breathe in the mix. And then, of course, I'll be posting the links and everything in the chat as we go. So, all right. Well, this is these next 3 are all Just Scott songs. And I hope everyone enjoys. And we'll talk to you after this block.
empty streets, you can feel and smell the heat of summer. Electric dreams, sparking in the dark, secrets locked inside your heart. You're not ready. You cry for help, but no words are coming out. Your voice is lost in all this doubt. You're drowning. Memories locked deep down. I'll get it in, unless your mind reads. Nothing's getting out of here tonight, unless you're a mind reader. Unless you're a mind reader. Unless you're a mind reader. Hey, hey, memories locked deep down, and I'll get it in, unless you're a mind reader. Nothing's getting out of here tonight, unless you're a mind reader. Unless you're a mind reader. Mind reader. Stay. She said don't leave, come back to bed. We'll take tomorrow off and mess up the sheets. Forget our problems, they're better left unsaid. Stay for one more night, let's live like we are kids. Pizza and bedclothes on the floor. No rules, regrets, let's stay off the grid. It's been days, minutes, hours, and seconds. I can't stop thinking about you. Days, minutes, hours, and seconds. I can't stop dreaming about you. Time is all we have, and it goes way too fast when I'm without you. Days, minutes, hours, and seconds. I can't stop dreaming about you. See, I can't see color when you leave my side. The world turns dull, it's all black and white. When you're near, my eyes are polarized. You've taken me to a different place. I still remember all those wild nights. Those memories were the best of times. It's been days, minutes, hours, and seconds. I can't stop thinking about you. Days, minutes, hours, and seconds. I can't stop dreaming about you. Time is all we have, and it goes way too fast when I'm without you. Days, minutes, hours.
Yeah, so that was it was all that. Sorry, I don't even know what to say. I love that last song a lot, as I was saying in the chat, but I hope everybody got what we were talking about just a few minutes before if you weren't familiar with Just Got Sound.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's just you just got a quality about you, man. It's just, you know what it is. I think about it is I say this pretty often. It's about being genuine with what you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
And I think that shines through more than most, you know, for a lot of people, because when you're genuine about what you're writing and how you go about your, you know, music in general, like, I feel like that just makes a huge difference.
Yeah, the a comment I'm reading from Cocaine for Toothaches is just Scott equals just freaking hit machine. There you go. That's a good quote.
That is a great quote. You know, I just try to write about what I know. And when I have nothing to write about that I know about myself, my family, my life, whatever's going on around me, I write about what friends are going through. I write about, you know, like, I try to put myself in other people's shoes.
Yeah, it comes off. It comes across as if it's genuine. You're not just trying to emulate something, you know, where you're like, all right, what lyric would go good here, or like this song is about a guy meeting a girl, and you know, or something like that. It's like you're writing from there's a real source of emotion, I think, connected with the lyrics.
Like I was just thinking, because Seconds Without You is it's not a new song,
Right.
But as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking about how I wrote it and all the things that influenced different lines in the song. Like in the beginning, you know, it's about a scene in Scrubs where Zach Braff and his girlfriend, they're like, let's just take the day off and have sex and eat pizza in bed, you know, like. And
I
that's
love that episode, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great, and that's the beginning of it. And then there's the bridge where it's like, remember that time we stole your dad's car, parked at the beach, and fogged the glass up? Well, my wife didn't steal the car, but we fogged up the glass at the beach. You know, like, so
it's all about it's all connected with something, and like Dominic was saying, it's very genuine because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that is, you know, I just took. I mean, I'm insanely in love with my wife, and it's just. I mean, I think she feels the same way, but
right. We all hope, right?
it's funny, is before I met her, everything I wrote, obviously emo shit, you know,
right?
Everything was like kind of depressing, kind of about like how shitty everything is, and then I met her, and I'm like, fuck, what do I write about now?
Yeah,
and I'm like, you know, and I'm like, shit, I am like blissfully happy. Yeah, I wish I was a millionaire.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are other things that are important. And now I'm just like, I guess I just got to write about what's fantastic in my life. And then sometimes I write about things that aren't so fantastic, but I just try to write about what I know.
Right. You should say next time, I wish I was a billionaire, and then people will be questioning. You know, be like, is he a millionaire already? Why would he choose billionaire?
Well, I didn't say, you know, I don't have millions.
Right.
I wish I had more.
I wish I was a trillionaire. I mean, one day, you know.
No, I mean, I have friends who say they don't need the money. I'm like, it'll buy some happiness.
Right.
Well, yeah, I know. Like, what is the Daniel Tosh joke from back in the day? It was like, you know, money can't buy you happiness, but you never seen a sad person on a wave runner.
Right.
So, but no, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think money's good for paying bills, and if you can live financially stable, that's good. But I think beyond that, I mean, richness comes from like life and friends,
for sure,
and kids, and, you know, whatever it is that makes you truly happy. And, you know, writing music for me is a huge one for me. It's a huge offload of my emotional baggage goes right into it. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, a comment that 13 Nights said in the chat is it reminds him of Kid Burn, and it does. I think. You're familiar with Kid Burn?
I'm not, actually.
Oh, you gotta check him out. It'll be it's a very good comparison. Yeah, he's a great musician.
Really?
Yeah. So, anyways, what was I gonna say? Dominic, take over. I forgot my thought. What VST do you?
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? Yeah, last week on the show we had Ness Daniels on, and OBS just didn't like my input, and I couldn't have any volume going through, and I had to the last minute just be like, Dominic, take over. I have to fix my mic. But you did great, man. You did great.
By the way, yeah, thanks, buddy. I thrive in awkwardness, and I knew the one. I'm like, he's like, you got to take over. I'm like, so what's up there, Des?
And then you're like, do you like Star Wars?
You like Star Wars? Yeah, you want to talk about Batman, maybe?
No, dude, you did great.
A few months ago, I was sitting at the dinner table. We're eating with my in-laws, and my wife's kind of clumsy, and she breaks a lot of stuff. And we're in their house, and we're cleaning up the table. I'm still sitting at the table. My oldest son, Nate, he was 13 at the time. He's 14 now, but he's kind of a wise ass. He's kind of, we're kind of goofy, the two of us, like that. My wife and her sister are in the kitchen, and something drops and breaks. And my sister-in-law's like, "Don't worry, it's okay. It's nothing." Blah blah blah. And I said to my son, I said out loud, I was like, "It's like there's two Kims in the house." Kim's my wife. And it was just crickets. My father-in-law didn't even smile. My mother-in-law didn't even. I didn't even share it. And now, so the running joke is every time I tell a joke and nobody laughs, my son's like, "It's like there's two Kims in the
Yeah, you're doing the Homer back into the bush there, right? At that point.
I love that. That's my favorite, by the way.
Yo, we got two questions in the chat here. One from Craig. We ask this a lot of time too. What's your DAW of choice?
I actually use a strange one. I use an MPC. It's what is it? MPC 2, I think it's called. It's by Akai.
Oh yeah, I've never even heard of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird one, but it's very much like Logic.
Okay. Yeah, it's got the same feel.
As well.
I started off with a Digital Performer. I don't know if you've ever heard that. And then I made the switch to Pro Tools because it was very similar to Digital Performer in feel. Like it had the same kind of look. Like if you're used to like a DAW like Pro Tools, and then you look at like Fruity Loops, it looks very different, right? And at the time, I was like, I can't do this, So.
Right. It's like very discouraging.
Right. So now I've been using Pro Tools now.
I've
been on Pro Tools for like 20 years now, and it still is as like buggy and problematic as day one, but I'm not switching. I'm never switching.
Right.
I've been an FL guy forever.
Yeah, Dom's floating, making songs, and I'm hitting save every 2 minutes. I'm like, it's worth it. It's worth it for the pro level system.
FL crashes like crazy though. That's the thing though. Like it's like I couldn't tell you how many times I've opened up a project and then it just crashes.
Yeah.
And then I've sent tickets and they're like, "Did you try uninstalling it and reinstalling it?" I'm like, dude, I've been on the internet since I was a kid.
Right.
I've done everything you're about to tell me to do. Like I've even searched for the fix forever. So.
I got another question here from the game night. What advice would you give somebody who wants to make synthwave?
Ooh. So I would say don't ask Just Scott.
Right.
No, because my music isn't traditional synthwave.
Right, it's more of a retrowave sound, right? You would say?
Yeah, it's like retrowave or a synth pop.
Right.
I've only done one instrumental. Most of my songs I write, and sometimes I'll write the melody in music. It will be synthwave, but then I take it out and I write the words and I sing it the way I wrote it. But I mean, for me, like my advice, if someone wants to make synthwave, I say you just gotta listen. For me, it's listen to some 80s, listen to some soundtracks, some 80s soundtracks. I mean, I think my inspiration is 80s music, 80s soundtracks, Kaminsky, The Midnight, John Farnham.
For me, it was New Wave.
Yeah, I mean, Erasure.
Chex Quest soundtrack? Anyone? Okay, never mind. Talking about cereal before. Go on.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I listened to a lot of New Order, a lot of Erasure, Depeche Mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, early on when I first started making music, like this kind of music with, synth, it was that was driving me.
Yeah.
But it's just the more music you listen to, for me, it's just similar music that you love.
Yeah.
The easier it is to write, something that you would be happy with. I think. I don't know. What would you recommend doing?
Well, when I first started doing this a little over a year ago, I thought I was being super original, and I had no idea what it was. And I was like, I'm going to make 80s sounding music.
Get the bingo card out, right? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, we got to get the bingo card out, right? For sure.
Right, we tell this story all the time on the show, but it's good. It's relevant.
If it's getting old, I'll stop. I'm just saying, though, the fact is that I had no idea what it was, and then like my brother's like, "Hey, this is Synthwave," and I'm just feel like a fool. Like I was like, "Oh," it's like I literally did a deep dive, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not original."
You're feeling like Future Cop in 2008. You're like, "I'm going to do this," right, or something, and you're like, "It's 2024 or whatever. I'm going to change the sound."
That's right.
I'm trying to think. There was this girl. I'm trying to look on my iTunes library that really got me going during COVID into this whole realm of music. What the heck is her name? Here it is. Caroline Kingsbury.
That name is very familiar sounding.
She has a song called Hero. She has a song called Kissing Someone Else. Like, when I heard Breaking Apart, like, it's all synth. It's very repetitive.
Yeah.
But it's so good. And it really, for me, I was like, oh shit, I want to make music like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it resonated.
How the fuck is she doing that? I said, and I went out and I bought an Akai little, keyboard, and then I bought a bigger one, and I bought a microphone. I was like, I'm gonna fuck.
Is the original little one the one in that photo?
Let's see.
Or are you just like massive and it just looks
right.
I am massive. You see my arms? Those are real.
Right. Right. You're really 18 feet tall, right? And that's a full size keyboard.
Gun show.
That is a deceiving photo. That's why I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is actually a 64 key keyboard, but I'm so huge.
Right.
You can't.
You're just so massive, right?
Right. I'm gonna Photoshop you in a vaulted ceiling house where your head is like near the top of the ceiling.
Yes, my head is actually abnormally small. That hat is a size extra small for kids.
Right. It's a Barbie hat, right? That you just happen to be wearing it.
Yeah. But no, that is a small keyboard. That was my first one, and I end up, when we travel, I take it with me.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's great. And I got the bigger version of that now, and I've got another keyboard as well. But yeah, that was my starting keyboard, and it was all I needed.
Yeah.
I was like, I heard.
How long have you been playing guitar?
Oh, since my dad went to work and I was home as a kid, and I would take his guitar, and so 1982. I should be amazing by now. What the hell?
Right. What happened?
I keep saying the same thing to myself. I've been playing since I was 12, and I'm 41. I'll be 41 in July, and I'm like, there's no way that I should be like shredding master, but I'm like, I'm just a rhythm guy. I've always been a rhythm guy.
Yep, same.
Yep.
And I think the problem was my dad's favorite bands were the Beatles.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Dude, okay.
Yep, makes sense.
We had the Beatles complete book in the house, and when he was gone, I would play the music. And I'm like, why can't I play like Van Halen by now?
Which is weird because like I think I fell into the same category there, but my mom listened to like a lot of like Yes and King Crimson and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So it's like you'd think I'd be more like technical because they were kind of like more like mathy, stuff, Rush and things like that. But no, I always gravitated towards melodic, sappy stuff. That's probably why I liked emo and metalcore music and all that stuff, is because it's always very like melodic.
Yeah, everybody plays a part in the band, right? It's a group thing, so everybody is as important. Even drummers like me, we have our place too.
Yeah, whatever.
So right. So this is the new trio forming. Dominic's bass, Scott's got the guitar and singing, and we can finally, Scott, relive your dream of the emo band from 2003 and all drum for it. It'll be perfect.
Amazing.
All right, so this is the official announcement of the end of Just Scott, right? And
the band will be called Third Wheel.
Right, Third Wheel. Right. We all take turns.
And Just Scott.
Right, two guys and Just Scott. That's perfect.
Right.
All right, guys. Let's
Scott and these other guys.
Let's keep it moving because it's almost we're almost down to the last half hour. So the next three are three songs that I asked you to bring that are inspirations to your sound or things you aspire to sound like or take or just like. So let's go through the block. We can talk about them after.
Awesome.
And they're all great songs too. So I think everyone will enjoy these. So all right, we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay. All right, I'll be here.
forget what I even started fighting for. Now and then it all just bleeds into one. But when I call you up, when you're miles away, I still remember what you used to say. Singing, oh, I guess I'm missing you tonight. But missing you just feels so right. I used to watch you from the back of the room. You always knew just how to set the scene. You used to paint me in your design. But now I'm alone, I'm here, I'm doing fine. But when I try and recall all the times we spent, when you held my hand, wonder what that meant. Singing, oh, I guess I'm missing you tonight. But missing you just feels so right. Running in circles to come on, show me a sign. Oh, know that I love you, but I just need some time. Yeah. When I call you up, when you're miles away, I still remember what you used to say. Singing, oh, I guess I'm missing you tonight. But missing you just feels so right. Singing, oh, when I call you, I guess I'm missing you when you're miles away. I still remember what you used to feel so right. so it's good for my soul.
And we're back. Excellent picks, and like I was saying in the chat, I absolutely understand why you picked those. Very, very similar, similar vibe overall. You know, like you were saying, Ollie's range is higher than you, that kind of a thing. But absolutely, I could see the influence of all of these kind of tracks, or why you would gravitate to this sound. Because this is the sound. Like it appears that you and I have very similar likes in the synthwave genre of like ultimately the. You know, like what you would reach for if you had to have a sound on a desert island type of thing. It's definitely that kind of sound for me too.
We need to work together.
Get my own keyboard on the desert island.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I have to ask you on air if we can work together, right? So it's this awkward collab that you are forced you're forced to do.
No,
and then I give you horrible music, and I'm like. Every show, I'm like, hey, man, Scott and I are just updating you on what's going on with our track. Sorry, Scott, what were you saying, though? You were saying something real.
No, I was just saying, absolutely. It sounds like we have the same kind of interest in, in music, and that would be fire. Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, we can talk. We can definitely talk. Very interested in that. Tom, were you saying something? I feel like in these interview shows, as always, you talk, and I'm like, so anyways, and then I just cut you off completely, as always.
I have pretty bad ADHD, so it's gone. It's not there anymore. I either blurt it out right in the moment, or I lose it. Or
it's like something from the beginning of the show, and you're like, Cocoa Puffs.
Well, yeah, I'd be like, oh, yeah, right.
I've just been trying to think of it.
Yeah, I like Cocoa Puffs.
Right. No.
We were talking about cereal.
Oh, yeah. I remember what I was going to say. For whatever reason, Ollie's voice always reminds me of the lead singer of The Killers.
Oh, sure. I could see that.
Yeah, Brandon, it always reminded me of that.
Flowers?
Yeah. Brandon Flowers, yeah.
I could see that, for sure.
Maybe.
Is it Flowers or Brandon Flowers? Maybe I'm just thinking of it.
That sounds very familiar.
Fowlers or Flower? I think it's Flowers.
I think it's Flower.
Either
way, though, solid singer.
That. I would have been just Brandon if I had a choice.
Just Brandon?
Just Brandon.
That's funny. But yeah, I could, like you were saying, like you would be an excellent sound. I mean, I was joking with Dan in the chat, like, all right, set this up, let's get it going. But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that kind of sound working, especially as like the opener, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
if there's ever a double tour,
like the first guy, like that would be. I don't know if it would be a dream come true, but I think it would be a dream come true. Sure. Like opening for those guys, because like I can see having similar fans. That would be fine. I mean, early on when I started playing, I think one of my dreams was to play CBGBs, and I did.
Nice.
And that was filled. So now, later in life, I think opening for some of these guys that I respect and love their music. Well, that would be.
It's nice that they're large enough that they will come on tours, right? Like him, Ollie, Time Cop, Droid Bishop. These people do tours, sometimes limited, but it is an option that they're going to be somewhere around. And because you're out in New York, obviously, it's like the New York, Chicago, LA. If you're going to do anything, you're probably going to hit those three.
Damn it, man! I miss playing shows so much.
Yeah, I do. We talked about this before. I don't miss being a drummer and hauling gear. That's unfun. If I was the singer, like Scott, and I would just get out of a car and and
With the
people
guitar in your
right,
case.
and people were just falling down behind me with notepads, following. What do you need, sir? What do you need? That kind of thing, which is what I assume happens with singers, because I'm in the back hauling in drums. And it's always a basement venue, so I'm hauling down these stairs built in like 1918 that are like 3 feet wide, and I'm just like falling down those stairs.
That's why you need a Dominic, dude. You need a Dominic there to lift it and just handle it, no problem.
Yeah, I
was
get that.
carrying my
Usually,
drummer stuff.
I look like the accountant or the lawyer that's just coming along for the ride.
Right.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's even
that
better.
That guy must be their assistant, or he works for them.
I mean, I had a bass and a giant cab, so I mean that thing was like, I used to yell "hot soup" when I was going through the crowd to try to like get my stuff out.
That's funny. Hot
Just 'cause
soup.
people wouldn't get out of the way. I'd be like, "Hot soup," like that. And they'd be like, "Oh."
That's a very Dominic thing to say. I don't know.
It is. I've been doing cheesy dad jokes my entire life. Like it was before, like I was meant to be a dad apparently. So
Drumwave just said LMAO, not the stairs built in 1918. He knows what I'm talking about then.
Oh yeah,
and these
for sure.
these old city venues and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like that here in Detroit as well. Around Michigan as well. You go like into these venues, and then the building was built. Like you guys said.
Right, when everybody was like 5'3" and weighed like 110 pounds, right? And then they build everything to that.
I'm like bending over the entire time.
Right. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, it's almost 11:40 here in Chicago. We got another block here to play. Was there something we were supposed to talk about here? Because we got another block, and then then we'll come back.
Do we come back one more time?
Yeah, we come back one more time to like talk for a bit and then sign off, and then there's another block after that. So,
right.
Was there anything, Scott, you remember that when we get chit chat and we left up in the air?
We didn't talk about my songs very much, but that's totally fine because the music just speaks for itself. So.
Yeah, we did plug the idea pretty hard of you opening for Ollie Your Ride, so I know he listens to this, right? I know he's waiting for this to come on his phone. No, but you never know.
It's the best radio show ever.
Right.
Obviously.
You never know. You never know who listens to what. But are there anything else about any of these songs, though, before we go, that you do want to say that you feel is relevant?
I mean, just the fact that I've been so lucky to work with a couple of really great, with Shred, Kruger, like working with him on 2 songs was awesome. He did the Cars cover with me.
Yep.
And then Just Breathe, and then working with Aisle 9 was just, every time it's just been awesome. I'm just feel very blessed, and I look forward to working with other people in the genre as well. So I'm just like a pig in shit.
Right.
Happy,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I feel too, man. I've worked with Shred too. I mean, really good guy, by the way. I love that guy.
Yeah, he seems really
100%.
cool. I haven't worked with him, but I've chatted with him because he was on the remix that Woren did for one of my tracks, and super cool guy. I mean, like very easy to talk to. A lot of people in the community are, not everybody, but a lot of people are.
Stupid talented. Like,
absolutely.
Just one of those guys that can play anything.
And not just dropping a solo,
Why are you not
playing
famous?
through.
Like, this guy should be like majorly famous. Like he's just that good on the guitar.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, totally agree.
With a great name.
Yeah, that name.
Sure, yeah.
Like, even if you think it's silly, you're going to remember it. That's what I thought
you
the
don't
first time
forget.
I heard it.
A few of my friends are like, "Why not Shreddy Kruger?" I'm like, "Because that sounds."
I call him Shreddy all the time, but
I'm like, "But that sounds so." I'm like, I take him far more seriously as Shred Kruger
Right.
than I would if I heard Shreddy Kruger.
Yeah,
It's just a little too far over, although I do call him Shreddy in my head, I think, as well, because it's so, so similar to Freddy, but for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I met him through Sub Neon when I did the remix.
Oh, I thought you knew him beforehand.
No, not really. I mean, kind of like, hey, how you doing kind of thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of like, we touched bass, more obviously when when I was doing that and I was working with him.
Right. All right.
This is great.
Well, let's. Speaking of good guitar player, we have One by Outrunner up next, but we are dramatically running out of time as we do. So let's move on to this, and then we'll come back. Talk to you guys in a bit. And we're back. And RetroSynth has a lot of really good artists on it. During this show, I sometimes forget because when you're working behind the the scenes with the label, you hear a lot of music and you go through a lot of stuff. And then I'm on this show and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is our people. This is excellent. I mean, Scott, you're included in that also, but obviously, but
but there's so many better.
I'm not saying better, but there's so many great people. I mean, it's. And for somebody like me that really loves Synthwave and listens to it all the time and stuff, it's so cool to just hear all this new music right away and all this kind of stuff. So it's super fun. But hey, we're getting up to the top of the hour. I want to take care of a few things first. On our screen here, there's some QR codes. And you see on the left side, 2 of them are for MCTV Midnight City Television, which, if people don't know, is the RetroSynth television app that streams synthwave and has trivia and shows and that kind of stuff. And it is like you can get it on like any TV if you have Apple TV or Google TV or a Roku TV or on your phone. And some big things are going to be happening with that. It's going to be expanding and everything. So absolutely check that out if you haven't yet. It's highly recommended. It's like Tubi, only for synthwave people, full of like music and all that kind of stuff. You can also go to just search like Midnight City Television or Midnight City Studios on Google or whatever to get more information on that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Let me see here though, but yeah, so this to me has flown by. I mean, we are right at the top of the hour right here.
Always does.
It always does. Does this feel fast for you, Scott, or have you been looking at your watch since like 11 for the last like 45 minutes? Just staring
100%.
Staring at really the weights, quick. Right? Want to get back to lifting or working out or whatever, right?
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Right. So, Scott, what's coming next from you? Like, what do we have to look forward to?
I've been working on about 3 songs for the last month, back and forth, and I just, I think we'll have something out by the summer. I really do. I'm hoping more than 1 song.
Do you have any album or EP plans in the future?
I've spoken with Dan about it and coming up with, putting out a whole album.
Yeah.
Some previous release music, some new music. I'd like to.
Yeah.
I really would.
I would love that. That'd be so cool to me, for me personally, anyway. So do it just for me.
No, I would like to. I'd love to do, merch with it too. Physical products. I'm there. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. I'm a big physical person, as we were talking before. Like when artists, I like to release physical merchandise.
He likes to get physical.
I like to get physical, right? But only with Dominic, though. That's why we get along so well.
Physicals. No. You didn't hear me right.
Oh, sorry. I almost let our secret out. My bad. Yes,
hey.
Doctor visits. Absolutely.
Yeah, doctor.
I actually, with Dan, speaking with Dan, I almost put one out last summer because I had like 4 new songs coming out. I'm like, I should release something all at one time, and we're like, oh, maybe we should release 1 song a month for like 3 months, or like we ended up going that route. But I'm dying to put out a full album, and I'd like to rework some of my old songs.
Yeah, I would love that. What'd you say, Dom?
Yeah, I'd like to rework.
I said Oh, no, it's okay. I just said I'm a big album person. I really, truly believe in the album versus like the single kind of thing for me. So,
I it tells a story, and I really would like to, I'd like to rework several songs. BT.
BT. Yep.
Yeah, BT.
Which means before Tim.
Obviously. Right, for anyone coming in,
not here.
We have to explain a whole thing. Tim is aisle 9, and you work with her. We got to give a whole story again.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked together on the last 8 songs.
Right.
So, the songs before that were great, and I worked with some great engineers. But I'd love to rework some of them and change them up a little bit and release them all on a new album. Remaster them and
You're turning into the next era is going to be called Just Tim with singing, right? I think.
Yeah, that's it. Karaoke Just Scott.
Right, karaoke Just Scott.
That's it.
Oh, I see. Future Past Radio is in. It's a fellow Chicago person like me. He does a really cool Twitch stream as well. If,
nice.
Definitely check it out. Supports a lot of RetroSynth people as well on the stream, and does one of these live DJ things where he transitions songs correctly, and it's really cool to hear like my song transition into like an Ollie Ride song or something like that. Very
nice.
high skill level. So yeah, definitely check him out. He's a big RetroSynth supporter. Let me see. I don't know. I got nothing else. Dom, do you have anything else before we sign off?
Man, I have so many things. Do you guys want to hear it?
Right, you got your treatise ready about world improvement or something.
That's right. No, just the normal thing, man. Just be kind to each other. Remember that it only takes a moment to make somebody else's day better, and just be nice. It's not that difficult.
Can I ask you guys a question in closing?
Yes, absolutely.
No. I mean, yes.
I'm gonna put you guys on the spot.
If you say what's your favorite VST, you're kicked off the label.
What's your
Sorry, go ahead.
What's your favorite Jeff Scott song?
Oh, that's interesting. For me, it's either going to be I was wondering if you were going to pick this or not, but I really like the song Suburban Dreams.
I really like that song too.
There's something about, I love the hi-hat part, that ultra aggressive like hi-hat part in the ultra aggressive is maybe the bad way to describe that awful hi-hat part. No, I love that. It's driving sound, and that is I remember I was just newly working for RetroSynth when that came in, and I was like, yo, what's that? And like in my mind, like you had the BMX guys on the cover, and I made a short for it using 80s BMX footage from like home videos, and it's one of my favorite shorts I've ever made in terms of connecting with the song. So that'll always be kind of my favorite Just Scott song. But that's like choosing your favorite kid. There's a lot of there's one you might like a little bit more, but you like a lot of them. You like so.
You love them all, but you like one a little bit.
Right.
I like Seconds Without You. I like that one a lot. So
yeah, that's
it's catchy. It makes me reminiscent.
I feel like if there's like a Just Scott cinematic universe, that would probably be like a lot of people's favorite top, song on the soundtrack, that kind of a thing.
Yeah,
that's a really catchy one.
Sit there and think.
Right.
About all that,
Right, that's a good.
Specifically when you're in a relationship or something like that. It's nice to have songs like that, so it's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Suburban Dreams is a great one, written about growing up in suburbia.
Yeah. I also Take Back the Night is a good song as well.
And that is my favorite lyrically written song.
Yeah, for a while that was like my go-to Just Scott track, but as more have come out, and then I went to your back catalog. Type of thing, like stuff that came out before that or whatever. That's moved down the line a little bit, but again, like it's the same thing, like the kid's description. I mean, if I had a Just Scott playlist, that would be probably like number 2 or 3.
The evolution of the Just Scott song has definitely come a long way since the very beginning. Yeah, and I don't, my kids are the worst. They don't even support me. They're like, oh, Dad, we listen to it all the time, so we don't like it.
Right.
Like, okay. It's too slow.
We listen to the radio.
Right.
Yeah. Their favorite song is Bad Guys.
Oh, yeah. So, it's a good one, too.
I don't play that one all that often, but because I'm always listening to the new stuff, trying to hear, like, okay, I got to fix this. Or,
do you do the pace around with headphones on? My daughter's used to seeing that. For me.
Pace around, in the bathroom, in the car.
Right.
I'm just like... Everybody's trying to talk to me, and I have the noise canceling on. I'm like, I can't hear you, and I don't want to.
Right. You're trying to explain to like your wife. You're trying to explain to your wife. Go ahead. Sorry, guys.
No. I'm just pointing at my ears and like, I can't hear you.
Right. It's always funny, like I envision, like we have a lot of kind of like stuff, if you're not into synthwave or into the 80s, it sounds cheesy, so you're like walking around with headphones on, like, and people are talking to you, I'm like, I'm trying to see if the bass is right in Crystal Unicorn or something like that, my newest song. And people are like, what is this you're doing?
Like our go-to thing is always Crystal something every time we describe.
Oh man! All right, Scott. What a pleasure to have you on. I've been looking forward to this one a lot. it's been really fun. It's been really cool talking with you and hanging with you, and you're really kind of a cool guy to talk to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too.
I really appreciate it. Dom, Dave, thanks so much for having me on. And I mean, this has been a lot of fun for 2 hours.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man.
You're like, this has been a lot of fun for 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 33 seconds.
Jesus Christ, is this ever going to end?
Right.
No.
Looking at it, like sweating bullets. Like, come on.
Right. You're looking at a sandwich on the counter. You're like 10 seconds.
Never getting
10
these
seconds.
2 hours back.
Right.
Never.
All right, man. Well, we look forward to having you back on in the future. Definitely, like when you release something or whatever, we'll talk and we'll try to work something out. But I appreciate everyone in the chat too, and everyone that's been hanging with us all these weeks, coming in and out. I mean, we have some regulars here, some new people. The show wouldn't exist without you guys, and everyone, all the listeners, Dominic. I appreciate all of you very much. This is, like I've said many times, absolutely my favorite day and time of the week is these 2 hours. You just disconnect from life and just have fun and hang out with people. It's absolutely amazing for me. So thank you to the chat and to you and to our guest and everything. And we will see everybody next Tuesday.
For sure. Later, everybody. I
Later,
love you all.
everyone.